Welcome to PhD with Women on IT Hack the Future. My name is Yata Young, and today's PhD Positivity Hack delivered will be by Mildred Murphy. PhD episode 36 starts here. Let me remind you, this is a grassroots community that focuses on women on IT, an inclusive forum of women in technology, startups, and female leaders who are supported by men as well. And I bring heart to that hustle because empathy is my motto, and empathy is critical when you are a woman in construction. In today's episode, we are going to learn how to become a woman on construction. And I bring you our special guest who I met just last week. Mildred has been at the RWACX conference in the Bahamas, and she was standing there very pretty, chatting to me. And after a couple of words from her, I decided, you know what? You deserve to take that badge from me, the speaker badge, the keynote speaker badge, and you should be on that panel delivering the speech. Well, let's talk about the privilege of speaking to one of the unicorns of women in construction. Billy is the CEO and one of the co-founders of Noontide, a complete facility service contracting powerhouse. Her entrepreneurial spirit and genius for creating inclusive solutions underpin her accomplishments. In addition to her business career in construction, 20 years, isn't it right, Millie?
Yes.
20 years, real estate, renewable energy, and manufacturing. She has also been a personal advisor to a president and represent his national interests in his interest in the Washington D.C. and all around the world. She is the epitome of a courage, passion, and has a deep sense of caring for people. In her calm country of the Bahamas, she has a charitable foundation that empowers women. Millie, where in the world are you today?
Today I am actually in Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm asking you because you also have got a company that is set up in Canada. Is that correct?
Yes, my company is set up in Canada. It's an international company. We're in Canada, but we work all over. But today I am in the beautiful island of Nassau, Bahamas.
Totally. That's very beautiful. I'm very privileged to be still in the Caribbean. Beautiful country, beautiful by nature, as we can see, Turks and Caicos Islands. And I'm really humbled to have you. And Millie, I wanted to ask you, starting with this question, what was the key learnings from that conference? Did you take away something?
Yes. In fact, I took away a lot. Quite frankly, to be honest with you, Beata, it was very informative. One of the things what I took is it's investing in the Bahamas and how easy Arawak X is making it for local Bahamians, the average Bahamian man or mostly women, to get in on the action of making money. And that was very impressive for me.
Fantastic. Does it mean that you're planning to launch your project on Arawak X?
I am absolutely looking into that.
Oh, great. I'm looking forward.
In fact, I was supposed to have a meeting with the CEO so we can discuss that in the very near future.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to the news and keeping my fingers crossed. So let's go back to basics. 20 years of construction experience. How did you start?
Okay, my start, Beata, is really from humble beginning, and I can't tell you the start unless I go all the way back to the 13-year-old version of Millie. And I was born here in the Bahamas. My father is from Haiti. For those of you who know, Haiti has a lot of trouble right now, but hopefully they can get their act together really soon so they can get going. But growing up, we grew up in the ghetto. I was not born with any spoon in my mouth. You know the saying, some people born with a silver spoon. Well, I didn't have any spoon. So we had to learn how to make means of what we had. And what led to constructions for me is watching my dad every day. He was a painter, like I said. He would get up and when I said painter, I don't mean a paintbrush, portrait painter.
Yeah.
He actually paint houses. And so every day he would get up, get ready, and go out to look for a job. But 9 out of 10, every day, he would always succeed in getting a paint job. And a very young me, I remember one day he came home and he said, I have a part-time job for you. And I was so excited because I know where he was working. It's a small boutique hotel. I must have been 13 as I remember it. And I got excited. I got ready to go with him the next day. And the next day when we got there, I remember my dad got dropped off to the boutique hotel and they took me to this house. As I recall it, this really big house with a lot of windows. And I tell you, when I got in the house, the first thing I said to myself, how do one get a house like that? Because it was so beautiful. It was the little house that I lived in at the time could have fit in that house at least 7 times. So to me, I was amazed by the size of this house. It was a newly built house, and I guess they was getting ready to move in. So the employer, she told me, she gave me a mop, a bucket, and she said, I need you to clean all the windows, de-dust everything. I'm still amazed by the house, and I guess I've asked to use the washroom. And she pointed out that the servant washroom was downstairs. I went downstairs, and the turning point in my life, I would remember, because I still remember it to this day. I got in the washroom and I thought, why do I need to use the servant washroom? I mean, the house is empty. No one's here. I can use any. I have to clean it anyway. So I guess I was a little rebellious. So I got on a bus and I went back home. I went home and I got in my room and I just stayed there. In the ghetto, all of the houses have porches. It's more like a recreational for everybody in the neighborhood, because you get to talk to the neighbors, you see everybody. So everybody sat on their porches. So I guess my dad must have came home early, and he was sitting on the porch when the employer, she pulled up. And you know the term, people don't often remember what you do to them, but they remember how you make them feel.
Yep.
So I must tell you, I remember hearing she pulled up and talking to my dad in a very aggressive manner. Your daughter left. This can't happen, and humble as he was, and he was just trying to, of course, explain the case, had no idea that I left, but he just was being a parent. And before he was done explaining, she just sped away. And I thought that was a little bit condescending. And I remember my dad came into the room and he used these quotes to me. It's a Haitian quote. It goes like this: Bourik fait bourik pour aider le potéchai, which translates to donkeys give birth to other donkeys to help it carry load. And I told my dad, well, why do donkeys have to give birth to donkeys? Why can't a donkey have a bear, a tiger, or a lion? And my dad, I remember the way he looked at me, nodded his head, and he said, well, whatever it is that you want to do in this life, you make sure you do it to the best of your ability, and you do it humbly. Always be humble. And those were the turning point at a very young age of my life that led me into this version of a woman that I am today. Life happened in around 2006. I incorporated Noontide Management here in the Bahamas. I like to use the term when I speak with people in the Bahamas. I said, Noontide is not a Canadian company that's doing business in the Bahamas. It's actually a Bahamian company that's doing business in the rest of the world, because Noontide initially started here in the Bahamas. And the reason why it was incorporated so I can chase jobs in the construction field. And around those years, the construction industry was really booming in the Bahamas. And but in 2008, the market crash. And let me tell you, when the market crashed, it was really hard for everybody, especially for those like myself who was in the construction industry. But one of the skills I took with me was from one of my first job here in the Bahamas, where I got a project on a remote island where I needed to bring suppliers, laborers, skilled and unskilled, together on this remote island to work, deliver on a project, and hence where the facility services came into effect to what it is today with my company. And when the market crashed, then my husband came up with the idea, maybe we should move to Canada. I had such problem with that because I did not want to give up control. I worked so hard to incorporate my company to get it where it is. Then I had to go into a foreign land to, and it was very hard for me. But we got to Canada and we incorporated Noontide Service Corporation, which is your complete facility service corporate contracting powerhouse, as we call it today. And we then provide a rapid, qualified response to everything and connected to and associated with your facilities anywhere. And but I take with me, even then, my humbleness, what my dad taught me, is to do everything to the best of your ability and always be humble to the cause. And hence would bring us to this conversation, even this interview today with you, Beata.
Yay! Well, here is a beautiful picture from Arawak X, us standing together, enjoying our beautiful spotlight, because at the end of the conference, we had a chance to network and to mingle and chat to all these amazing ladies who are so much out there, but not often enough picked to speak at the conference. So one of my call to action to Arawak X and to all the males in the audience was to bring more amazing women like you. And just giving the story of me, when you have a humble beginning, when my mother brought me up, believing in the Polish saying, "Siedź w kącie, a znajdą cię." You said something in your language. I'm going to speak in my language, which basically means sit in a corner and they will find you, which is so much not the case. Nowadays, in digital age, you've got opportunity to speak up. And I'm so excited to see you on all the various social media platforms, speaking up about your achievements, about amazing people you're meeting. So well done, sister.
Thank you so very much. And also to you, well done to you also. It was a privilege speaking with you. We had an amazing time down there. And I'm very, very proud of you as a woman. Once we crack the ceiling and get going, I tell you, we then become a force to reckon with, which is what you are, Beata. And thank you for having me here today.
We are not only Noontide, we are, Global Tide. We are creating this movement for Women on IT Hack the Future. So we've got some lovely comments, and we encourage everyone to chip in and ask a question or make a comment. Say whatever you want, wherever in the world you are today, because we welcome everyone and it's an inclusive community. Not just women are invited. Men are part of solving this global problem for women in the entrepreneurship, leadership positions, in technology or construction. So we've got Olga Vasina also lovely commenting, what a backdrop, what a guest. I am fascinated by Mildred's amazing story. What a woman. What a woman on IT.
Thank you, Olga.
Thank you. So let's go to some of the statistics, because we prepared here some statistic of women in construction. And it's quite fascinating because there is only 10% of women CEOs. Let's look down there. So 86.7 are in office positions. 2.5% of trades people are women. Women represent about 10% of the construction industry in 2019. And I have to tell you, Millie, that yesterday I actually met another woman in construction, but again, she wasn't uh, directly involved in construction because she was just recruiting for construction. So let's look at jobs held by women. Nearly one in three companies promoted women to senior roles in 2018, which is a great sign of a change. Although 45% are sales and office, 31% are management, 21 construction and maintenance, 1.5 service occupation, 1.4 transportation. Let's go down and look at more numbers. Women owned firms, that would be you, Millie. 64% growth in women owners from 2014 to 2019. So 5 years and we've got 64% growth. That's very encouraging, but we still have got quite a gap to fill. 9% of women owned firms achieved revenue greater than $500,000. 4% of new construction firms were launched by women last year. Let's look at women leading in construction because there is quite a gender gap in leadership. 44% of the top 100 contracting companies have women in executive roles. 16% employ women in C-level positions. Two of them are CEOs. So out of 100 companies, only two of them are CEOs. We are talking, of course, the top 100 companies in construction. So, Millie, how do you deal on a daily basis with gender gap or toxic assumptions? How is it for you?
Well, for me, the first thing what I had to get over in dealing this line of business, and that's in everyday life, is that you have to learn how to harness your emotions. And if you're going to walk into a male dominated industry, you have to be ready for anything. I remember walking in meetings and people still looking to see where is the guy who owns the company. I remember bringing some of my project managers in meetings with me and people directing questions at them, overpassing me, although I'm the one with the answers. But how do I deal with that? I improve myself. I use every block and I build with it and construct myself into a powerhouse to make sure that my company represents its spot on the world stage. No one's going to give you anything. Certainly, no one's going to open the door, especially in this form of industry. So, as a woman in this line of business, you have to stand your ground and own it.
Mm. Well, at least you've got a very telling name, so it's much easier. But I guess for my friend who was called, well, there was another name that was kind of double name. You could have a male or female. Anyway, she was always Charlie. That was her name. She was always asked, "Where is your boss?" So, or please make me a tea. So that there is definitely toxic assumptions and toxic perceptions. Or as my friend who's not with us tonight because she's based in Australia, Laura Mercurio would say, it's not actually toxic assumptions, it's toxic ignorance. So I would
That's
agree with
exactly
that.
it.
So we've got a comment from Catherine Halpin. She's another CEO, powerhouse based in Malta. So that's also quite challenging. Um, ground for breaking the glass ceiling. We
Mhm.
are very grateful, Catherine, to have you. Maybe you have some questions for Millie or maybe some observations how it was for you. Please join us in the discussion. We are always eager to hear these stories because stories speak louder than all the statistics in the world. So, Millie, you had your first kind of awakening when, as a teenager, you really felt badly treated, and you wanted to break the glass ceiling somehow. it didn't work out. How was it for you? How did you change from that very dynamic girl into trying to fit in or lean in or trying to be one of
Of the boys.
many women? Yeah.
Okay, so for me is that I have this model that I work with for my self improving skills. I am not a victim, so I build on whatever negative that's thrown at me. I can't wait for something negative to happen so I can construct it into a positive, because at the end of the day, it's all energy. So how I dealt with that is that I did not become a victim of my environment. I could have sat and feel sorry for myself, or I could have feel victimized, and I could have lose all hope. But I decided to use that. I harness that energy and I work with it. And I guess it brings me, help me to develop the skills I needed for this line of business. I believe, and I stand by that, my 13-year-old self was training me to become this woman I am today in this line of business.
So did you have some role models you were really inspired by, or were you just building your path yourself all the way through?
I have so many role models that I am inspired by. Too many to call on. My number one role model, like I said, started at a very, very young age, which was my dad. At 13 years old, watching him get ready every day, go out and look for a job. And he did it humbly. He just, no matter what was thrown his way, he just was not victimized by his situation. He just kept going. So he would be one of the role models that influenced my life and that construct me into the woman that I am today, also who bestowed the values in me to know that, you know what, opportunity does not always knock. You cannot sit on the corner and wait on opportunity to knock, because there's some people that opportunity never shows up to knock for them. Sometimes you have to go and punch and drop kick. And when opportunity presents itself to you, you have to be ready to manage it.
Bravo, sister. We've got Carrie Davis saying, well said, great attitude, take the negative and make it positive. That is very much in line with our positivity quote, which is, when you can't find something positive, look harder. We were also reminded by our productions team about Dame Vera Stephanie Shealy, who would always call herself or sign herself in her emails Steve Shealy. So just not to confuse others, just in case she wanted to sign this new contract, that was the way she was dealing with. So, Millie, building the company, how big is it now, and how is it structured? Because you're based, one leg is in the Bahamas, the other leg is in the Canada. I've seen lovely pictures of your private jets. So what is it like living with Millie on a daily basis?
Okay, so on the daily basis, first to start off with the company, I still consider myself to be very controlling at that. So I meet with my team every morning. It's adamant that everybody is on a call with me, no matter what part of the world I am every day. I still control the hiring and the firing. I really like my hands on that to make sure I know who we're bringing in on our team, and to make sure we have the Noontide standard to satisfy the needs of our valued customers. And we are a hybrid contractor with one primary function, Beata, which is to serve the needs of our valued customer with a commitment to excellence and with support from our suppliers. We deliver our products and service through the Vision platform. And the Vision platform is a smart facility ecosystem that is powered by Noontide. And if just a short few years ago, if one, just to quickly explain Vision, the Vision platform, just a few years ago, if one needed a taxi, you had to go through the yellow pages to call a taxi. But now If you get at the airport, you need an Uber, your little box that's in your hand, you can just go on an app, and a few minutes later, without even speaking to anybody, an Uber, a car shows up to you. The same for the facility service with the Noontide Vision with our Vision platform. Whatever needs there is in the facility service industry, we are here to provide with just a touch of a screen. With our platform, we show up no matter where you are, from snow plowing to elevator services, or to even pick a pen up off the ground if you don't want to bend down and do it yourself. We're here to serve and to meet the needs of our customers.
Well, Millie, I'll sign up to that because we are looking at some properties in this area. So who knows? Maybe I'll be your devoted customer. Although you mentioned Uber, I think there is quite a lot to do with innovation in Bahamas. I mean, I didn't have any chance to order Uber. I was, driven everywhere by the amazing Arwakex team. But here, for example, in TCI, there is no chance of getting Uber. You have to either rent a taxi or rent a car. There is no public transport, no taxi app. The only taxi platform that used to be is somehow down. So I wonder, is it a good place? I mean, the Bahamas, the Caribbean islands, is it a good place to start innovative business?
Anywhere is a great place to start any form of innovative business. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. And as we know right now, the world is going digital no matter where you are. So anytime, anywhere is a good place to start. Because here's the thing about succeeding in anything. 5 seconds after you realize the one person that's standing in your way from succeeding in any project that you want to accomplish, 5 seconds you identify that person, then the quicker you start getting and going. I'll tell you this much. If I remember just a short period of years ago when people would say, well, it will one time be paperless. And we thought that was a little bit taboo. And look at us today. So to answer that, Beata, I would say anywhere is a good place to start a business. You just need to get up and get going and get started and working on you.
Exactly. Well done, sister. You've done it possible with your Vision innovative product. I wonder if anybody wanted to work with you, what is the path through? Do you like? I've met this problem in TCI. I'm not so sure about the Bahamas, but many people said, there is a high expectation to employ somebody with proper training or proper education. What's it like with your company?
Okay, so with our company, which is a hybrid contractor, so what we do is once you come in under the Noontide umbrella, then we will train you to our standard. To meet the needs of our customers, because we work for some of the largest real estate property managing companies in the world, and we want to make sure to satisfy their needs. So it doesn't matter your educational background for Noontide. What matters is that your ability to serve, to understand that we are all humble servants to the cause, meeting the needs of our customers and doing it humbly. And anything else, we can work with you from there.
So, in other words, you hire based on potential, not so much on proof. So that's very, very good sign of very innovative approach. And we have Darcy Raming, the CEO of Arwak X, who said, "Thank you for sharing your story. It will serve as an inspiration to many people, women and men, here in the Bahamas and abroad." Absolutely, Millie, you made it global. You're there. You have arrived. You're hacking the future.
Thank you. Here's to hacking the future.
Fabulous. So, Millie, that's very promising that you're hiring based on potential, because data shows that women are hired on proof, and quite often not even so, because when there is a male with the same set of skills, it will be usually chosen over women.
Mhm.
So that would be my suggestion. Hire on potential, see the good in people, and look for diverse team members, not just white blokes talking to white blokes about other white blokes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Say,
Identifying and nurturing talent and develop it into something tangible. That's very
there
important.
you go. There you go. That's a truth speaking right now, right here. So,
Mhm.
Millie, going back to training or career building, what advice would you give to other females to help their career or start an entrepreneurial journey?
Beata, the advice I would give them is to start right now. Success comes 5 seconds after you come to the conclusion the world or no one in it owes you anything. Fear will often creep in. Don't listen to negative internal messages. Replace them with positive message and reinforce that message with positive actions. Okay? Make fear your ally. Use it as a critical source of guidance to reach your goals and beyond. But start right now.
Absolutely. And what are the top five soft skills or career driven women should have, in your opinion?
In my opinion, um, the top 5 soft skills any driven woman or anybody for that matter should have is leadership. Well, for women, leadership, understand your power as a woman. Women traditionally have held families together. This has always been a leadership role. These
Hmm.
leadership skills is needed in business. To grow a company, you need to nurture and develop talent. And number
Okay.
2, I would say organization. You must bind the pieces of departments of a company into one piece, one force. You must then project this force outward, and this requires, which would be my third skill, communications. Open as many communications lines as possible and find a way to communicate with your customer. That's very, very important. Always make your customer feel like they're the sole reason that your business exists, and which they are. My number 4 would be responsiveness, rapid response, measure it, improve on it. The world operates at light speed, and if you want to be relevant today, you need to be able to respond effectively, instantly. Develop tools, skills to respond effectively to your customers. Always be there for them, no matter what. And number 5 will be service. Leadership of all well-tooled organizations which can effectively communicate and be responsive are all required to be effective and at the highest calling. So service, again, measure it, improve on it. So those would be my 5 soft skills for women.
Bravo, sister. I would also add speaking up because I met so many amazing women during the conference, and whenever I had a chance to chat with some of the ladies from Arwak X, what really is important, you have to vocalize the need for success. So whether it's a CEO position or whether whatever position you imagine, aim for it, because we talked about the fact that so many of us are waiting for the opportunity to come. Whereas if you encourage, if you speak to your leader or if you speak to your boss and say, where am I going in this organization? I would like to see myself in 5 years' time doing something similar like you, being the boss of the boss, right?
Absolutely. Being the HBIC, and by that I mean head boss in control.
There you go.
Mhm.
And I would also add, Millie, and I think it goes without saying, we need more men who welcome female in the leadership positions,
Absolutely.
right? We are blessed to have very lovely husbands who are encouraging and always making sure that we are in a very good position. So I wonder, do you have some stories to tell us about how your husband was helping you in your role as a CEO?
You know, Beata, funny you said that. In fact, that is one of my uh, for my role models and the people who helped me to become who I am today. My husband, Michael O'Brien, saw this version of myself long before I did, and he helped carve and shape it into become the woman that I am today. And I could not have done it without him. From setting up the camera to make sure the lighting is right, to 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 seeing and acknowledge that I am not a sex symbol or woman, but a human being with ideologies that I can bring to the table to help make a change, and to give me a seat at the table to do exactly that. Michael O'Brien is I would say my prince charming by everything, and thank God for him. I could not have done this without him. And he's also my
Oh, come on. I think you would do it, but maybe it would take you a bit longer. But
it
he
would have
saw potential, right?
it would have definitely taken me longer, Beata, but I have to give him his credit that is due.
Definitely, it's due, and I'm sure he heard it before. So let's go into the Lancy niece, who's saying, I hope I say it right. Her surname or his surname, I'm not sure. Mildred Murphy, you're so inspiring.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your comments and questions. We all these are welcome to our channel. I wanted to go, Millie, to your new project because you mentioned that new project and it's very exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, Noontide Service Corporation is expanding globally to serve the needs of our valued customers in the facility management space. We have our sites to be in 38 countries, such as the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Australia, and the Caribbean in the next 24 months. We are growing the Vision platform to be the platform used in managing commercial, industrial, which houses manufacturing facilities, warehouse facilities, flex facilities, and retail office space within malls and high-rise commercials.
Hold on a second, because you told me about the foundation you're setting up. Is that a top secret?
That is the, the foundation. The foundation is not top-notch secret, but in making, it's gonna be and is a force to reckon, which is with empowering women, and it's all about empowering women to give them a seat at the table, a listening ear, and a no judgment zone. The foundation, which is Star Apple Foundation, Beata, and it's an organization where in the Bahamas, you know, we as women go through so much, from domestic violence to God knows what else. And sometimes we need just a listening ear and someone without judgment, you know, who can just leave all the judgment to God. And what Star Apple is bringing to the table is to create that platform for women to be there for one another, to understand that we are stronger together and we are leaders. We just need to give one another, create opportunities for one another. And as we climb up the elevator, just keep throwing the rope down and taking a few of us with each other. We are stronger and a force once we unite as women.
Fantastic. And I see another very strong force, Fernerine Hannah. Fern is here today. Thank you so much for joining us, because without you, we wouldn't be here, right, Millie?
Hi, Fern. Yes.
She's set up this meeting for us females and coined it Keep Up Sis, but I actually suggested Keep Up Bro would be more appropriate, because some guys need to keep up with us, so with our force, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Millie, it's so exciting to hear about this project, your foundation that is coming very, very soon.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about what is your strategy for problem solving?
Well, my strategy to problem solving is I so like to bring up Noontide because it's my baby project, and now that is fully matured into an individual of its own. But I use it as an example of what I would do to solve problem. We are
Mm,
an effective solution for facility management to provide facility services. So effective solutions can only be obtained by understanding the problem, the exact problem. This is done through consultation and collaboration. Once the problem is well defined, a solution can be crafted. Once a solution is constructed, a method of delivery and execution can be implemented. So I always go back to my Noontide solving problem solving skills, and those are what I
mm,
rely on.
good. And what is a number one book you can sit and think, oh, I wish I read it before I started my career?
Listen, it's my favorite book, and I say that it's written by a guy called Michael Singer. It's the Surrender Experiment. I've never met Michael Singer. This is not a promotion, but if you have not read that book yet, grab it. It's such a humbling experience to read it. So it's the Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer.
So tell us a little bit about this book. Why is it such a revelation to you?
Such a revelation to me, Beata. It's about surrendering, letting go, and let God, and believing in oneself, and keep working really, really hard, and your path finds you. And
Mm,
I am one keen to believe in letting go and letting God, working really, really hard. I don't believe in waiting for opportunities to come towards me. I go out and look for it. And so that book has been one of the platforms I use to, I go back sometimes if I need to quiet my mind a little bit. In fact, I've read it a few more than once.
mm. Oh, good. And come back to the fact that you were building your career. How was it for you? I mean, you talked about the fact that sometimes you had toxic assumptions or you met with some bias, and along the path we always make some fuck ups. How did you deal
Yes.
with fuck ups?
Well, how do I deal with fuck ups? I use it as an experience and a building block. You know, there's a saying, Beata, how would you know how strong you are if you haven't been broken? So
Mm.
how would you know to perfect anything if you haven't done any form of fuck ups? In fact, I look forward for fucking up so I can get on building, because now I know, you know what, this is not the route. Let me just re-angle it to a different direction. So thank God for fuck ups. Because then it create the route for development.
Absolutely, that's the best learning path. No matter what your mother teaches you, what your donkey teaches you, there is always path to make yourself. And you know, we can bring some God and some swear words, but
Mhm.
really, what we need to do is learn through our own experience.
Absolutely.
Millie, we are dealing with pandemic. I know that some countries are still have to still wear masks, and
Mhm.
when we were going anywhere in the lovely Nassau, we had to make sure that you know, we sanitize and so on.
Mhm.
Imagine the pandemic is over and you could go anywhere in the world with any person in the world to have private breakfast with. Who would you bring, and why, and where to?
Okay, so Vieta, I would have to say Elon Musk. And it's because I would like to pitch my revolutionary company to a person who obviously sees the future in a whole new way. No doubt, Elon is going to go to the moon and beyond, and Noontide Service Corporation will provide the facility service. in the and I would choose space. The reason why I would choose space, Beata, is because I can have breakfast anywhere in the world right now. And I figured since I can do that, so I might as well kill two birds with one stone, have breakfast with Elon in space. That way I can pick him up as a client and go somewhere that I can go on my own because he'll have to take me there.
It's a very clever way, Emily, to do it. And Fern is saying lol, lol. And I'm definitely very, very curious how it will go. And fingers crossed.
Well, let's hope he reach out to you, Beata, or myself, Elon. I'm going to tag you on this so you can reach out to us. And maybe we can do this interview again, Beata, in space.
Totally, yes. I'm on it. I'll take my gear and, all my outfits to make sure that I impress Elon, because I'm sure you will be chatting and you will be pitching your idea, whereas I'll just be an add-on to your idea. But it's very good what you're saying, because last night, thanks to Shiba Wilson, we met in TCI in her lovely hotel resort, Grace Bay. And we were chatting with one of the ladies. She was talking about how difficult it is for her, maybe because she only started this business, how difficult it is for her to say, well, I run a business. I started this business in pandemic, and I'm a business person.
Right.
So was it easy for you from the beginning to talk about your business or how powerful you are? Or were you just born this way?
You know what? My ego is telling me to say, girl, you was born this way. But I must say, with time, it comes with experience. Fear is a great tool of energy once you know how to harness it. And over the years, I've learned to harness my fear and turned it into a big ball of positive energy. So although it was not easy, but like going back to fuck ups, thank God for fuck ups. Then we learn to manage whatever that is broken and keep building, which bring me to where we are today.
Absolutely. We've got Amethyst Hewart. Oh, she's sending some space rockets, so it's definitely in writing now. We have some plans shaped. It might be happening with Elon or with whoever. We might just rent, or build a rocket ourselves, Millie, right?
There you go.
We don't need a man to take us to the moon.
No, we don't. We can get there on our own.
Absolutely.
And you know what? But since we have the route there, Beata, we can get a ride with him and then dominate it when we get there. Because that's what we're good at anyways.
Totally. Delancey is saying, law of attraction. There you go. Let's go. There you go, ladies. Let's touch the screen. It's almost like secret, secret girls club in action. Very good. We like that. I hope you boys are not too put off by the energy we are having in this show. Anyway, we are inclusive. We want men as well, because it's going to be so much easier when we've got whole community, whole world trying to solve the biggest problem: lack of women in IT, in the entrepreneurship, in female leadership positions. Ricky Curry, very inspiring. That's lovely to hear. Millie, I wanted to go back to some very nitty-gritty questions.
Sure.
Your life lesson quote.
My life lesson quote will be this: when no one will give you an opportunity, you go out and you create your own. And when you've done that, you make sure that you are so good at it that you cannot be ignored.
Mm.
And that's mine.
Okay, good. And how did you get there to that life lesson quote?
To that life lesson quote is just go back from the very beginning, from me not being the victim of my environment. My father said, donkey have donkey to help it carry load. I didn't want to be a donkey. No one was going to turn me into a bear or a lion. I had to get going and structure and to become this version of myself that I saw and wanted to be. And so hence why I said, when no one will give you an opportunity, look, life is not about roses and petals all the time. Sometimes you have to go there and create your own opportunity. And on your way there, you may have to knock, drop kick. But the key is never give up and keep fighting. Believe in yourself. Consistency, persistency, always equals to success. And never, ever give up. And don't let no one tell you you can't. Because the only person who can stop you from becoming whomever you wish to be is yourself. It's your universe. It's your canvas. You carve it into your liking. And that's how I see it. And I stand by that, Beata.
Totally. Delancey is saying yes. Patrick is saying, totally agree. This is another super awesome PhD from an incredible woman, Mildred Murphy. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Thank you, Delancey. Thank you, Fernie. I am very humbled to have you all comments coming to support our lovely speaker, Millie. I'm going to burn myself shortly because I'm kind of moving from one side of the pool to the other because the sun is coming and shining beautifully on us. Millie, I wanted to ask you, how is your father coping with the fact that the donkey has got a bear of force in his family now?
My father is not here today. He's moved on to his eternal life. But I know every time he is rolling in his grave with joy and proud, knowing that his little girl, because the little girl in me still yell out to him, Daddy, look, I am not a donkey. I am a bear or a lion. So I know he's very, very, very proud of his little girl who did not. The little donkey that became a lion.
Bravo, sister. Let's ask you about the final call to action. What can we do next for the great entrepreneurial spirit in the Bahamas and the Caribbean? What do you think is the key strategy?
The key strategy for the... one second. I'm sorry, what is... can you ask?
This is something out of the blue that I've got suggested. It's suggested by our lovely production team. What can we do next for the great entrepreneurial spirit in the Bahamas and the Caribbean? Whether it's ladies, whether it's male, female, whoever. What do you think is the best shift for the future of economy?
Innovation. Join the movement. And you have companies like AWACX, I will throw out there, who is an ideal example of what the future is going to shape and look like. So I would say innovation. Join the movement and do it now.
Great. Sorry, I was just moving myself to a little bit of shade. I'm still here. So innovation is key. Do you think there is some panel for innovation? Because I know that AWACX is having their meetings. Is there other opportunities? I mean, what would you suggest to some local communities to do to inspire some innovation? Is there some example you've seen abroad while you were traveling?
Well, the example of the advice I would give is to do your homework, do your research, because sometimes with innovation and, joining the movement and looking into the future, because the future is today, and what kind of version of yourself that you want to see yourself at. Identify companies or platforms that is good to invest in, especially now in the digital world. And I see a few, but which I wish not to call today. But I would say again, just do your homework and your research and make sure you join the movement, because the world is changing. The world as we know it is changing, and you want to be prepared for it.
Absolutely. We've hit the pandemic. Many people who were refusing to be online all of a sudden had no other choice to
Hmm.
meet other people, whether via Zoom. And some of them suffered Zoom fatigue. We are definitely hacking the future with our digital devices, and whether it's on Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, whichever channel you're watching us now on, it's definitely there to inspire you with some innovative ideas all
Yes.
around the world. And
And
speaking of
and if I
innovation,
may,
yes,
Beata, and also tell your friends, your enemies, everybody to join Women on It, Women on IT. It's another source of innovation and to get you ideas of where the world is going and to keep up, sis.
bravo! And keep up, sis and bro, with Women on It. Hack the future. And
Absolutely.
thank you very much for your lovely appraisal, Mildred. Speaking of innovation, we are going to have our next guest next week, navigating the next economy startup, who is going to talk about her new exciting startup that she built during the pandemic. Because during the global crises, quite often great ideas happen. Like Uber, for example, that was established in after 2008, after the last big crash on Wall Street. So we definitely have got the potential there to disrupt the economy with our innovative ideas, like Vision, like Noontide, and all of the lovely, great ideas Arwak X. Fern is also very happy, and Keep Up Sis is definitely recommending to keep up with the great innovative ideas that are
Absolutely.
happening all around the world. Okay,
Yes.
Millie, we are coming to the end of our show. I wanted to ask you, apart from your great ideas, apart from the great new steps you are taking, can Bahamas see you more on the stage? Are you open for public speaking?
You know, I am very much open to anything that can change the world in a positive way. And if I can be of service to serve to the younger Millie who's coming up, looking for someone to look up to, a role model to say, you know what, if she can do it, if she did it, I can do it. I am very much open to do whatever it takes to put my mark in the future, in the present and the future, which is now, to make sure that we put this country, ourselves, each other in the right direction.
Yes, let's get the brand of the Bahamas, the beautiful by nature and all the Caribbean islands on the global map of innovative ideas. Darcy
Absolutely.
Ramming Jr. is saying amazing stuff. He's the CTO of Arawak X. It's lovely to see you, Darcy, and having
Hi,
you
Darcy.
supporting our case of Women on IT Hack the Future. Delancey is saying, I've upskilled during the pandemic as a full stack developer, so I fully understand the need for innovation. As I'm located in the Bahamas, she says, that's great to hear, Delancey. Uh, Fern is also saying, absolutely. Amethyst Hewitt is saying, yes,
Hands
giving
up.
us hands up. Yes, totally. And Patrick says, Percy, Reming, Millie, and Beata, these ladies are on fire. Thank you so much, Patrick. I
And
hope
Patrick,
you
I think the
guys.
word to use is these ladies are lit. I think that's the word.
There you go. Well, wherever in the world are you today, focus on innovation. Bring these innovative products that economy needs nowadays. Tell people and they may forget. Show them, they may remember. But involve them and they will understand. And as Confucius said, so definitely if you would like to launch your project, The Bahamas Arawak X is now in the Bahamas as well as in Silicon Valley. They are welcoming all the projects not only based in the Bahamas. And that's it from episode 36 of PhD Livestream. Thank you very much, Millie. To
Thank
stay
you.
updated and ensure you never miss a positivity hack delivered, follow Women on IT and turn on notifications to be alerted once a video has been released. Let's go back to the fact that when you focus on the positives get more positive. As always, our positivity quote comes from positive thinking only and goes, look for something positive each day, even if some days you have to look a little harder. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Today is your day to hack the future, hack the positivity you want. Woo!
Mm.